If you want self-confidence and self-belief, there are things you should stop doing immediately. Now, the first thing is to think that you have to know and control everything in order to be of value. This is a mistake that many people have made, many people are still making, a mistake I personally made. I remember once I went into a job. I'd come from a job where I was very comfortable. I knew exactly what I was doing. I had an expert level, and I went into a completely different direction. And in this job, it was complex to say the least, even for people who had backgrounds that were very directly relevant. And instead of me stepping into understanding that my value was not to know every single detail or control every single thing, but to really understand that my value was to bring perspective, to bring vision, to leverage the expertise of my teams, I made the mistake of thinking that if I didn't know everything, then I would look like I was a failure. And so for months on end, I would put my head down and try and figure out everything on my own. The sad fact is, it didn't come easy. And to be honest, I wasted so much time, energy, and resources. Some of you can definitely relate. What was required was for me to come in and to understand that I was already enough. And me not knowing all the answers did not take away from that. So at the point when I realized that what was happening was I wasn't driving this ship that I had been given, I wasn't leading. I was basically being dragged along on this roller coaster. I took a pause and I decided I needed to have a talk with myself. Confidence was not going to come ever from knowing everything and being an expert at everything because I couldn't know everything. I had teams for that. There were teams to support me. My job was to step into leadership. And the confidence came when I said, okay, where do I want to go? Where am I right now? Really being honest. What are the resources that I have? Who can I leverage? Who can support me? Who could have the answers? And the more I did that and let go of being in the weeds and all the tiny little details and thinking that was where my value was, the more success I saw. And that's where my confidence rose. So if as a leader, you are trying to do the job of every single person and you feel somehow that lack of knowledge is a crime, then you are not stepping into brave leadership, daring leadership of saying, you know what, I don't have the answers, team. But this is the questions we get to answer, and I would love your input. So the number one thing you want to stop doing is to feel you need to control and know everything in order to be of value. This kind of thinking will always keep you feeling small and inadequate because there'll always be a question that you do not know how to respond to. Now, the second thing that you really want to stop doing is delaying gratification. So raise your hand and be honest if you're the kind of leader that sees all the things that are not correct. You have this uncanny ability to just spot the mistakes, and good for you. However, you're so good at spotting mistakes that you forget to celebrate the things that may be going well. And because you're so good at spotting mistakes and so good at pointing them out, your teams may feel that they can never do well enough. There's always something wrong, that you only see the wrong in them. And you don't mean ill. In fact, just like me, you probably think, oh my goodness, we need to spot the mistake, call it out immediately, do something about it so we can be in progress. That was my idea of ensuring that we were in excellence. There were two things that were an issue with that. One, I was disconnected from my feelings and my emotions. And so I didn't have the required empathy to understand that others may be affected by the fact that I was calling things out and in a very direct way most of the time. I just thought, well, it's a job. We get to improve. What's the problem? Well, the problem is this. We are humans. We're emotional creatures. We're always being driven by our emotions, either consciously or unconsciously, either positively or negatively. And so, as a leader, when you want to move the ball forwards, when you want to step into excellence, you can either try and pound on everything that's wrong and try and keep weeding it out, or you can decide to see what's already going well, acknowledge that, celebrate that, and then from that perspective, also mention or invite the team to see where things can be improved. One of these is more difficult, will take more time, will take more patience than the other, and is definitely much, much more rewarding. And so it's very important that you are the kind of leader who is able to celebrate the wins as you go along, who is not going to be worried that by celebrating a win, the team is going to rest on its laurels and be lazy. That's a scarcity mindset. And the other thing that's really deep here, and I want you to hear it, is the more you think about something, think about a thing. Okay, this person in my team is always making mistakes, or this person is never doing their job on time, or this person is not, whatever it is, the more you're focused on the things you don't want, the more they take on form within you, and the more you become like that. So you definitely want to be focusing on the things that are going right, the things that are in excellence, which doesn't mean that you can never mention things that you want to turn around, but you want your energetic vibration, your frequency, and your focus to be on the things that you want to see. So, number two, this is one thing you definitely want to stop doing is to delay gratification until everything has gone well. As you move along in any project, acknowledge, oh, this is going well. This has gone really well. Great job. Well done. Keep that up. Let's keep the change in that direction. As well as the things you get to shift, of course. The third thing that you really want to stop is to focus on people who basically want to tear you down. They have an attitude of tearing you down. They have an attitude of showing their dislike for you. You breathe and they're not happy. And it's so easy to focus on those people because our brains have a tendency to focus on danger. So those kind of attitudes are basically sign of not being loved. So you could feel threatened. And yes, those people exist. And I'm not saying be naive. But you don't want to spend your time and your life ruminating about these people. You want to focus on the people who are championing for your success. You want to focus on those people who ask, how are you? Where were you? I missed you that time. Or wow, you really show up and I love your energy. I love the way you come in and you bring energy to the situation. I love the way you speak and how honest and authentic you are. You want to be focusing and remembering those people. I once did this video and I talked about OPOs, other people's opinions. If at all you are going to focus on other people's opinions, you definitely want to focus on the opinions of others that lift you high, that show up for you in love and celebration and admiration, that see the very best in you. The more you focus on those, the more confidence you're going to build, as opposed to focusing on opinions that basically are there to tear you down. Now, fourth thing that you definitely want to stop is looking for evidence in the world that you don't belong. And I'm sure you've all done this at some point in time. Oh, I know that person doesn't like me. So you already know it and you're going to prove that they don't like you. Oh, I know I'm not that good looking. So you already have this idea and you walk through life with your shoulders hunched, hiding yourself, already expecting people not to be attracted to you, not meeting people's eyes, not showing up in your magnetism. And life is self-fulfilling. The prophecy is self-fulfilling. So what you seek, you will find. It was a really an amazing experiment that was done, and some people were actually shown that they had scarification on their faces, and so they expected that they were going to go into these interviews that we're going to go into, and they will be discriminated against. And just before they went into the interviews, what happened was they said, oh, let's do a touch-up of your scarification, and it was taken off their faces. So they did not know they did not have this marks any longer. But all of those people went into those interviews and came out with concrete examples of how they felt the interviewer had treated them based on their scarification. There was no scarification on their faces, but the fact that they thought it, they were manufacturing proof of expected behaviors. So that is why it's so important. Stop looking for evidence that you don't belong. Stop looking for evidence that people don't like you. Stop looking for evidence that there is something wrong with you. Seek and find evidence that you do belong, that you are loved and admired, that you are celebrated, that you are enough. And the more you seek that, the more you will find it. And when you show up in the world knowing that you belong, and it's your birthright to be here, then of course your confidence is boosted. Of course your self-belief is boosted. And the fifth and last thing I'm going to share today is something that we can all take on board, and which is that we need to stop complaining about everything and everyone and nitpicking for imperfections. Gratitude is the attitude that will take you to the altitudes. When you keep complaining about everything, then you may as well be complaining about yourself. It's not enough. I'm not enough. It's not good enough. I'm not good enough. Because what you're seeing outside of yourself, you are bringing to life inside of yourself. So the more you praise people, the more you see the good, the opportunity in everything, the more confidence you will have. And I'm going to repeat that. You cannot point a finger without several pointing back at you. So if you are one of these people who's always complaining, then your confidence is going to be eroded too. Yes, you may see things that get to shift. Yes, you may see things that get to be improved. Life is about progress, not perfectionism. So if in your life you find that you're complaining a lot, no problem, just take a pause and see, how can I up my gratitude game? How can I start ensuring that I am hitting the G spot, the gratitude spot? Even when things are uncomfortable, where can I find a reason to be grateful? So if you really want to stop eroding your self-belief, trampling on your self-confidence, you want to really start stepping into understanding that your value does not come from knowing and controlling everything, that you can already celebrate now, even if things have not 100% happened as you may want them to. So you stop delaying gratification. You want to start focusing on the people who love you and appreciate you and celebrate you and hold you high, as opposed to those people who may be tearing you down. You also want to stop looking for evidence that you do not belong, that you're not good enough. You want to seek the contrary. And you want to stop complaining. You want to stop being a whiner. You want to stop being a winner. You want to be somebody who gives gratitude. You want to be somebody who knows in your belly that life is happening for you and not against you. And that even through the pain, there is so much goodness that you may actually not be able to even see it yet. So to raise your confidence, you know what to stop doing today, and you also now know what to start doing. If you found this video of benefit, if you know someone who would find this video of benefit, if there was one thing that you said, ooh, that resonates, I can start doing that today, I would love you to like it. I would love you to subscribe to my channel, and I'd love you please to share it. I'd love to create an impact on the lives of millions, and it all starts with you. Love and light.